Your soulmate mother made a decision this morning. It could change everything. My beloved child, something unusual happened this morning. And if you found these messages, it may not be a coincidence. Well, the world was busy with its ordinary routines. Your soulmate's mother sat quietly with thoughts she had been carrying for far longer than anyone realized. For weeks, perhaps even months, she had been watching, observing, and connecting piece of a puzzle that nobody else could see. Then, without warning, something shifted inside her heart. A decision was made before the sun had fully climbed into the sky. And what makes this show surprising is that the decision was connected to you, not because she knows everything about you, but because she has started sensing something she can not longer ignore. Stay still. The end because the reason behind her choice is far deeper than anyone accepted. What happened this morning could become one of those rare moments people look back on and say, that was the day everything quietly began to change. Now listen carefully because this where this story become impossible to ignore. Your Sholimate's mother has always wanted one thing above all else to see the person she loves happy, safe, and genuinely understood. Yet recently she noticed something different. She saw moments of silence where there should have been excitement. She saw a longing that words could not explain, and then she heard something, a small detail, a passing conversation, a feeling she could not shake. Suddenly, she realized that the future she had imagined might not to be future mean to happen. This morning she's stopping, resting what her heart had been whispering for a long time. Instead of holding on to old expectations, she chose to trust a possibility that felt unaccepted and strangely right. The shocking part is that the decision was not made out of pressure, fear, or obligation. It was made from a place of clarity, and sometimes a single clear decision has the power to open doors that seem permanently closed. But here is the revelation that changes everything. The decision itself may not be what surprised you most, it is the timing out of all morning. Why today? Why not? Because certain moments arrive. Only when every hidden piece is finally ready to fall into place, your soulmate may not have even know the full impact of what happened yet. But the energy ground and their future has quietly shifted. A conversation that once seemed impossible may suddenly become natural. A path that looked blocked may begin opening without force. And if you have been feeling as thought something important was approaching but remained just out of reach, this could explain why the most beautiful changes often begin in silence long before anyone sees visible result. So remember this moment. Something you is waiting for you, not because fate suddenly appeared, but because a decision made this morning has started a chain of events that could bring two stories closer together than ever before. The next chapter may arrive sooner than anyone accepted. A quiet realization unfolded later that day, and this is the part almost nobody sees. After making that decision in the morning, your soulmate's mother could not stop thinking about it. The more she reflected, the more certain she became that something important had been hidden in plain sight. She began replaying conversation, remembering small details that once seemed insignificant. Suddenly, those details started connecting, like pieces of a picture finally come into focus. What surprised her most was not what she discovered about the future, but how long the signs had been there. There were moments she had dismissed, feelings she had brushed aside, and impression she never fully trusted. And now, looking back, everything appeared different. It was as if a curtain had been pulled away. And the deeper she looked, the more she realized that some connections are too meaningful to be explained by chance alone. What happened next was even more unaccepted. Instead of questioning her decision, she felt an unusual sense of peace. The kind of peace that arises when a person finally stops fighting what their heart already knows. She began imagining possibilities she had never seriously considered before. Not perfect, fantastic, but real possibility, but built an understanding, respect, and genuine happiness. The fascinating part is that she was not focused on appearance, status, or the opinions of others. Her, her attention was drawn together something much deeper. She wanted a future that felt authenticity. She wanted the person she cared about to be seen, valued, and truly appreciated, and somewhere within those thoughts a new perspective began to grow, one that was stronger, that hesitation and louder than doubt. Don't skip this part because what she started believing could influence everything that happened next. Meanwhile, a change was happening that nobody around her fully understood. That atmosphere surrounding this situation felt different, lighter, more hopeful. It was as if an invisible weight had been lifted. Your soulmate may not be lifted. Your soulmate not know about the decision. Yet and you may not see any visible shine right now, but important changes often being. Beneath the surface, they start quietly, where nobody is looking. This is why today's message matter. A choice made from sincerity has a way of creating momentum. It start moving piece into place before anyone notice movement at all. And if you have been wondering why your intuition keeps telling you that something significant it is approaching, there may be a reason, because this story is far from over. In fact, what your soulmate's mother realized after making that decision could be the very thing that transforms a possibility into reality. And the next revelation is even more surprising than the first. As evening drew closer, something remarkable began taking shape behind the scenes. The decision made that morning was no longer just a private thought, it had become a new way of seeing that future. Your soulmate's mother found herself paying attention to think she had never noticed before. Every memory seemed to carry a different meaning. Every conversation revealed a hidden layer. The more she reflected, the more she felt that certain people enter our lives for reasons that cannot be measured by logic alone. What surprised her most was the feeling that the story was still unfolding and that the most important chapter had not yet been written. A stranger's sense of anticipation settled in her heart as though she was standing at the edge of a moment that would eventually matter more than anyone realized. Stay till the end because the realization she had next may be the biggest one of all. Then a thought crossed her mind that changed everything again. She began asking herself a simple question: what if happiness has been closer than anyone thought? Not somewhere far away in the future, not hidden behind impossible circumstance, but quietly waiting for the right moment to be acknowledged. The answer did not come all at once. It arrived through feelings, reflection, and a growing certainty that someone opportunities should not be ignored. She understood that waiting forever can sometimes cause people to miss what was meant for them. And for the first time, she stopped looking at the situation through old expectation and started looking at it through possibility. That shift may sound small, but it was powerful because once a person's perspective changes, their decision often follow, and once decision begin changing, entire future can move in a new direction. What makes this extraordinary is that nobody else may realize it is happening and the outside world still look the same. Daily routines continue, conversation come and go. And beneath the surface, something has already changed. A seed has been planted, and seeds do not announce themselves when they begin growing. They work silently until one day everyone can see the results. That is why this message found you today. Not to tell you that everything will happen instantly, but to remind you that meaningful changes often begin long before visible proof appears. Something you is waiting for you. And the next part of this story reveals why your soulmate's mother is becoming more confident with each passing hour. What she is starting to believe now could create a ripple effect that reaches much further than anyone accepted. Will the rest of the world sleep peacefully? Your Shalimar's mother found herself unable to ignore one powerful feeling. It was not fear, it was not uncertainty, it was conviction, the kind of conviction that grew stronger every time a person listened to their heart instead of outside noise. She kept returning to the same thought over and over again, and each time it appeared, it felt more real than before. What amazed her was how naturally everything seemed to fit together once she stopped forcing old expectation onto the future. Peace that once looked at disconnected suddenly made sense. Questions that had lingered for so long began finding their answer and deep inside. She started realizing that some paths are meant to cross no matter how unaccepted the journey may seem. The more she reflected, the more impossible it became to ignore what her intuition had been trying to show her. At that moment, another surprising realization arrived. She understood that genuine happiness cannot be planned down to the smallest detail. Sometimes it appeared in form people never accepted. Sometimes it arrives through people they never imagined would become important. This realization changed the way she viewed everything. Instead of asking whether something was right, she began asking whether it felt right. That difference transformed her perspective completely. She started seeing possibility where she once saw obstacles. She started noticing hope where she once saw uncertainty, and perhaps more importantly, she stopped allowing doubt to have the final word. Don't skip this because what happened next was not a dramatic event that everyone witnessed. It was something far more powerful, a quiet inner certainty that continued growing stronger with every passing hour. And here's come the part that makes this story unforgettable. The decision made that morning is no longer standing alone. It has been reinforced by every thought, every reflection, and every realization that followed. Instead of fading away, it has become stronger. Instead of began question, it has become clearer. That is why this message feels different because what began as a single choice has started turning into a belief, and beliefs have a way of shaping the future long before anyone sees visible result. Your soulmate may not yet know how much has shifted behind the scenes, but the momentum is building. The people involved may still be moving quietly, but the direction is changing. Something new is waiting for you. And in the final chapter, you will discover the one thing your soulmate's mother finally understand a truth so simple and so powerful that it could become the reason everything started falling into place.